Welcome back, everyone, to the topic for today, and we are having a discussion with Dr.Cobus Oberholster from BKB. He's the General Manager looking after livestock, property and auctioneering. My name is Rubé Bradfield, and I'm the Principal at Home Hectare Real Estate, formerly known as BKB Property. Today, we are discussing property, in more specifically, farm sales in the agricultural sector of South Africa.
In our previous episode, we looked more at the broader agricultural environment, and I think two things that came out was the issue of agricultural intensification and the investment in technology and in equipment, which have a significant influence on farm properties. And I think other topic that came out very clear in the previous episode was that yes, there will be a need for innovative financing solutions. Now, with that in mind, I think it's important that we now focus on Home Hectare, and I would like to ask Rubé a few questions in terms of Home Hectare and the offerings of Home Hectare. Now, Rubé, if you look at BKB's significant footprint in South Africa in terms of agriculture, where do you see can Home Hectare leverage from that footprint and that long-standing of BKB in the agricultural sector when it comes to the selling of farm property?
Yeah, Cobus, thanks once again for being here today. I think one of the main reasons that Home Hectare can leverage off BKB's footprint is the fact that many, in fact, most of our agents are either farmers themselves, they come from a farming background, or they've been working in the industry for a very long time. So that enables them to speak from experience. They understand how farming works, they understand the operations, so they really know what they are talking about. And in essence, our agents truly understand the trade of the underlying asset that we are marketing and selling.
Rubé, but when it comes to the selling of farm properties, I think maybe the danger is that one would think it's the same as selling residential properties. What would you say is the difference between residential and farm properties in terms of Home Hectare's activities, and what maybe other skill sets are required that you bring to the table in terms of farm properties?
Yeah, Cobus, that question is twofold. So to start with, it's vastly different selling a residential property from selling a farm. And our agents understand that. They understand that selling a farm is really like selling a business. So there are often VAT implications. You have to look at the financial aspects in terms of income and expenses of a farm, which is very different to selling a traditional family residential property, which most of us understand a lot better because we all live in a house. So that's basically you are selling a granite kitchen or a modern bathroom instead of selling a business where there are a lot more factors that you have to consider. So if we talk about the skill set of the agents, and I've said this many times, I always think our agents, I see them more as a consultant rather than an agent, especially if it comes to farm sales, because they certainly need a different level of skill sets. So they would have to know the carrying capacity, the type of felt, the annual rainfall, as well as what is the best farming practice for each individual piece of farmland. So that you really need to know what you're talking about if you're selling a farm. Further to this, you have to look at the production capacity of the farm, and this is where infrastructure will play a role. For instance, you have to look at the water availability, the quality of the soil, quality of the fences, as well as, for obvious reasons, you look at the different buildings that are on the farm.
But you actually highlight a very important difference is agricultural properties is much more complex. Selling agricultural properties, and it definitely requires a unique skill set. Rubé, but in terms of the offering of Home Hectare, what sales platforms do you use in selling agricultural properties in South Africa?
Yeah, Cobus, at Home Hectare, we specialize in out-of-hand sales, online auctions, traditional live auctions, as well as tenders. So if I can just briefly explain the different options to you. If we refer to out-of-hand sales, that's more the traditional sense of selling a farm, where the farmer will contact us, we will do the valuation, and we will start the marketing process on our platforms, which takes a little bit of time. When you opt to put your property on auction or tender, it's generally because you want a quicker sale. So the process looks a little bit different. We would, for instance, sit with our livestock agent who already has a lifelong relationship with the farmer through selling livestock and wool. We will then come up with a customized marketing plan. Very important with auctions and tenders is we'll then also compile a budget, which is approved by the seller and also paid upfront by the seller. So this is the difference between out-of-hand sales and auctions or tenders. And the seller giving that upfront cost, that's the only expense the seller will have. As we know, on an auction, the purchaser is responsible for paying the agent's commission on date of transfer. So with that budget that we've got in hand, it enables us to reach a wide network of buyers and sellers, which ultimately will lead to a quick sale.
Rubé, but I think on everyone's top of mind is technology and the use of technology and the digitization of your offerings. Maybe you can just share some light on Home Hectare and the embeddedness of technologies in your offering and how you go about to make maximum use of technology.
Yeah, Cobus, that is a very good and a very relevant question, especially in today's day of marketing and media. As we know, it's forever changing. So at Home Hectare, we really pride ourselves in being innovative. We are always looking at new technologies, new trends, digital platforms, social media marketing. So we keep up with the trends. However, we firmly believe that people do business with people, and no piece of technology will ever replace the human interaction when it comes to selling a farm or selling any property for that matter. We understand the relationship between tech and touch, where tech refers to technology, obviously all the touch points that I've mentioned, and touch refers to human IT, and that's us, the agent. And I really think there's such a valuable input that our agents deliver to our clients, because selling your biggest asset, it really is just too an emotional experience to rely solely on technology. But yeah, as I said, we do invest in it as it will definitely increase our level of service, but definitely not replace the human IT.
But Ray, that's good news to hear that you embrace technology, but that you still focus on personal interventions with your customers. That is good to hear.
No, I have to say, Cobus, just following on that, our livestock and our wool agents, they've got such a long-standing relationship with all our clients already. So if the property agent gets involved, it just cements that relationship, and we want to take it forward. We want to build on that relationship, because we know in a year or two, or even next month, we would love to do business with all of our clients once again.
Rubé, I think to conclude this episode, and I think everyone in South Africa is aware that BKB promote itself as the trusted home of agriculture, and where trust is a very important aspect of our business. Maybe a few thoughts on how you embodied that principle in Home Hectare.
Yeah, Cobus, as per our slogan, which is at home with trust, we share that common value 100%. We deal with our clients with, we focus on a transparent and open relationship, open communication throughout not just the sales process, but also the marketing process. It's all about communication. You have to give feedback to all your clients on an ongoing basis. And we really pride ourselves on building those lasting relationships. And as I said, next month, next year, or in 5 years' time, we would love to do business with you once again.